Our goal is to do things that no other law firm has ever done before.
Our technology brings the future to you today.
We're the next era in the way legal transactions are handled.
Perfect. Okay, thank you everybody for being on time. Today what we're going to be covering is Bing advertising as a real estate agent, specifically showing you step-by-step how to set it up. So ultimately, this is going to be boring as a live webinar, but in the future when it's recorded, you'll be able to just pass that recording off to your admin, your marketing person, or you yourself, and just follow along step-by-step as I create two different campaigns. I'm going to create buyer campaign, and I want to create a seller campaign. Now, I'm just looking at a Word document that says that we're starting in 1 minute, so you're not missing any slides. I'm actually going to go into Bing. Let me show you Bing. So I'm actually going to go into Bing, and we're going to create it together. Now, before I do that, I should share with you a couple things that you should be aware of. Bing is cheaper than Google advertising for the most part because nobody uses Bing. And so it's pretty funny, but it's true. And so we will still reach our max monthly budget using Bing. So say we put $300 into Bing or we put $300 into Google. It would cost the same $300, except for Bing would get us more clicks. That's the difference. So the cost per click is a lower amount. And, let me undo that. There we go. So the cost per click is a lower amount. So if you were to do Bing or Google, you probably want to be on both platforms. But if you have an extremely limited budget, then maybe you just want to default to being on Bing because it'll be overall cheaper for the long haul. Now, budgeting in mind. So a typical internet lead, if you ask agents across the country, both Canada or the US, typically a range should be about $12 to $15 per lead is a pretty common bankable average that you could rely on. Obviously, you can get leads for $3, $2, $4, but I'd say as a rolling average, if you're actually doing your budgeting and planning, you should probably aim for the price to be around the $15 mark. Now, so knowing that number, so say it costs $15 per lead, how many leads per month do you want? So you would take $15 and multiply that by whatever the number is. So let me just grab a calculator here, and I'm going to take 15 and multiply that. Say you want 30 leads a month. So you want 30 leads. So it might cost you around $450. Now, the conversion rates are pretty common across the board as well. It's usually about a 2 to 4% conversion rate. So if I got 100 internet leads, I would close 2 to 4% of them over the period of like 8 to 12 months. So internet leads you get today, some of them will hop in the car, some of them will list with you today, but traditionally internet leads are further out close. And so knowing that it takes you 100 internet leads to get 2 to 4 deals, that's how you kind of justify your budgeting and like what are your ceilings and where don't you want to go above. So I'd say a really good, the minimum is 150 a month. Like you really can't do anything for less than 150 a month if you're very budget conscious. 300 to 600 is a pretty good range for an individual agent, even 1,000. The more the merrier. So the more you spend now, the quicker you'll get to the 100 leads. Therefore, the quicker you'll get to the 2 to 4% conversion. So if you were to take a budget of $150 a month, that would spread it out over the course of a couple months. You're a quarter into it, and now you're like, oh man, I'm not getting anything out of it. So the more you put into it, the more you'll get out for sure. And so right now, what I want to do is I want to step-by-step show you the Bing advertising setup. Now I'm going to use this website. We set up a templated, basically, I showed you step-by-step how to set this up in a prior video, so just ask me for it and I'll send you the tutorial. But we made this landing page for free. So we made a MLS listings page right here, and we made a house value page right here. So I showed you already in a prior video how to set this up. But if you already have a website, just use what you've already got, okay? So we're going to create a house value ad to start, because you got a list to last, and that's what most people want. And then I'm going to do the MLS listings as well. So if you're going to be following along, what I would suggest is go to your website and find your house value page. I'm sure you have one. It would say, what's your house worth, CMA, thinking of selling. Like, you must have a page that talks about selling. And on that page, you want a call to action that looks something like this. So we basically say, help determine what you could sell for in today's market. And then when a person clicks the button, we ask them for their address, name, phone number, and email. So that's what your landing page should look like. But I want to hop right into Bing. So most of you are going to just go to Google and Google search Bing ads. That's what you should search. But look, when you do that, look at all these advertisers, AdWorks, Outbrain. So you don't want to click on anybody that has the word ad written on it. You want to find the organic option. So it's this, bingads.microsoft.com. So I'm going to click on that. It should bring you to a page that looks very similar to this. They might change it in the future, but today this is what it looks like. And you would just sign in now if you already have a Bing account, or you would sign up. So I'm not sure which option you would do. I chose to sign in because I already have an account. And when I do, it brings you to my dashboard. Now, my dashboard is going to look a little bit different than your dashboard because you don't have any ads running yet. So this is what I want to point out to you. Along the top, you'll notice it says campaigns. So no matter where you are, click on the campaigns option. My screen is going to refresh. And then it's going to show you a list of all of my campaigns. And I really only have one campaign that I run, which is this one for my recruiting business. I target managers who are looking at growing their office. So that's my ad I have running right now. Now for you, you won't have any. So what I would suggest is you click on create a campaign. Then it gives you a bunch of options. You're going to choose the first one, visits to your website, because this is what we're doing. We're driving traffic to your website. You can also use conversions in your website. That's a lot more technical. Most of you will not need it. Really, at the end of the day, what most people use this option for is when they have an e-commerce website and they're driving people to a shopping cart and people are buying things. Most of you are in real estate, so I'm going to keep it simple, and we're just going to drive traffic to your website. So the campaign name, I always like to call it local search. The reason why I'm calling this one local search is because this is like the bucket. We're going to create the parameters of our first ad, but then we can create other ads in this bucket. So this one bucket is going to have what our monthly budget is. So I can have 5, 6, or 10 different ads all within the same bucket with one budget. So I'm going to call it local search. Based on the campaign budget, I have it set to $20 a day, but you can basically do this. Whatever your budget might be, say you're like, my budget is $500 a month. Take that $500 and divide it by 31, because there's 31 days in some months. And that gives you a budget of $16.12 a day. So if you made your budget, say just 16 bucks, now you won't go over your monthly budget. So that's how you determine what your monthly budget is. You take whatever your total is and divide it by 31. So I'm going to actually do, I'd say most people would probably have a $300 budget. Divide that by 31, and that gives me $9.67. So I'm just going to round it up to $10 per day. I'm targeting English because I am English, but if you speak other languages, then you could actually target those people. I'm going to leave it as English. And right now it's defaulted to Canada and the US. So what you're going to want to do is say, let me choose. And then you're going to type in the area that you're focusing on. So it should have just populated. San Francisco. Okay, I'll hit search. I'm going to target San Francisco as the area, this one here. So you can see it's 25 miles around San Francisco. I want to actually target San Francisco itself. but you would target your individual city. And some of you target smaller areas. So for example, I used to, let me target. There we go. So now that's targeting that's targeting San Francisco. But let's say you target other smaller communities around the area. You can just keep typing in the different areas that you want to add and add one at a time. You could have 3, 4, or 5, but I wouldn't have it any more than an hour radius because you don't want to be driving an hour to service these leads. So try and keep it as tight and as focused as possible. So for me, I'm actually going to just target based on San Francisco as a fun example because that's where I want to be right now. So San Francisco is where I want to pretend. I want to target people in my locations. I'm going to deselect this one, people searching for or viewing pages about your target locations. So that's kind of like shotgun marketing. That's a guess. I only want to target the people that are in this area. The only reason why I would choose this, I would deselect this one and turn this one on. The reason why I would choose this one is if I was targeting people relocating. And in that case, I would be doing a relocation ad because I'm targeting people who aren't in this area that are moving in. But we're going to keep it simple. Most of you, 90%, this is going to be the option, people in your target locations. Save and go next. Now, some of you, your website may not be ready, and you could check off this little box. My website is ready. I'm going to use the template that we made in the previous example. So I'm going to go to my house value page. So this is where you grab the URL up at the very top to whatever your house value page is. Don't just drive them to the home page of your website and expect them to navigate. You have to take them exactly to the landing page that you want to drive them to. So I'm going to take them to my house value page. Now the group name, this is where, remember I said the campaign is the bucket and we can put as many ads in it as possible. So this is where you label it. I would call this first one house values. My next campaign, my next ad group is going to be MLS listings or homes for sale, that sort of thing. So you could have as many ad groups as you want, but make sure they're very specific. So right now I'm targeting house values. So I am actually going to give you this list, this one here. So this is a Word document. I'm going to email everybody this. This is a list of all the house value keywords. So I'm going to copy and paste this document directly into Bing Advertising. But before I do that, I want to see how it says change, change, change. What you want to do is change that word to be whatever your city is. So you'd say Toronto. Or you would say Miami or whatever your city is. So for me, I'll show you a little trick. Instead of typing it out for each one, I'm just going to, in Microsoft Word, hit Control F. I just hit Control F and it gave me this search option on the top left here. Beside the magnifying glass is an option and I want to say replace. Now I'm going to find what? I want to find the word change. I want to replace it with, what was I doing? San Francisco? Replace with San Francisco. So I'm going to hit replace all. And now look, it changed all of those words without me having to double click and copy each one. So now that I've changed that to be the city that I'm targeting, I would copy that. I want to head on over to Bing. And you're going to paste the keywords right here. So say you do work in multiple areas, then what you could do is, so say I worked in Oshawa, Whitby, Pickering, and Ajax, I could do that 4 different times because we're going to have like Oshawa average sold price, Whitby average sold price, Pickering average sold price. So I want to include the word with the key phrase. If you only set this one up right here, that would be brilliant because you're being so laser focused on the keywords that you're targeting, you're not going to break the bank. You know if a person includes the area that you work and home prices, home sales, home sold, any of those keywords, then you know they are looking at either listing or they're very interested in real estate in your area. So I would say if you really want to keep your budgeting very low, then stick with a very small list like this. However, if you did want to go a little bit deeper, on the Word document that I'm going to share with you, I typed out the long tail. So these are all the other options. Let me show you how many there are. There's like 400 of them. I'm going to pause just so you can get a sense on the video. A real estate estimate value, real estate estimates, real estate estimate, my home value, property value of my house. So these are all the different scenarios where I would hope a person searching on Bing, I'd want to connect them with my house value page. So everybody in the group coaching program is going to get this Word document, so you can just copy and paste. There we go. Copy all of those. I'm going to go back into Bing. Now see where my cursor is? I have to make sure I hit enter at least once because I need it one line at a time. So now I'm going to paste it. Delete. There we go. So I just added quite a bit of keywords there. You can't add 1,000. That's new. All right. Then let's just stick with the base ones and we'll add more after. So I'm going to delete these. Okay. So we'll just do the core group at first and then I'll show you how to add more keywords after. Save and go to the next step. So now we're going to create our ad itself. So I'm going to click on create ad. And this is what the ad is going to look like when they do a search on Bing. And it will show you the side view, the mobile view, and this is what it basically looks like on a browser. So starting from the top, we basically have to fill in all of these blanks. So the final URL, that's where you're driving the people to when they click. I'm going to grab my house value URL. And I'm going to paste it in. So the title. So I would say, shouldn't have done San Francisco. I don't like typing it. Include the city that you're targeting in the title. So San Francisco. San Francisco house value. So we can see this is what the ad is starting to shape up to look like down here. Part 2 is going to be thinking of selling. And I can see there's a character limit. So I have 10 characters remaining, 4 characters remaining. So mix and match, because some of you live in cities that have very long words like Mississippi or Mississauga or something like that. So anyways, you might have to mix and match and change the words up. But this is a basic one here. So San Francisco house values, thinking of selling. Find out what it's... Oh wait, I want to add another keyword. Find out what your home is worth today. I'll include the keyword of where I'm targeting. Okay, so see my example over here. Let me, before I show you, one more thing. The path, I would say San Francisco, all one word. So the path is this green part under here. Your URL is going to be there, and then you can add a /, and I include the word of the area that I'm targeting. The reason for this is because let me do an example. I'm going to go to Bing. I guess I have to go here. San Francisco house values. So here's an ad right here. How much is your home worth? I don't know why it's a .uk. That's not very relevant at all. But see how the word over here, San Francisco, is actually highlighted, like it's bold. And look, I have the word houses. It's also bold. The reason why the word San Francisco and houses is bold is because that is what's up in the search bar. So when I'm creating my ad, When I'm creating my ad, I have the word house in case the person search searches San Francisco house values, but I also have to go home values. So then if a person did do that search, oh, hold on a second. All right, there we go. So if a person did do that search, I have more chances of my ad getting bolded. Okay. So it's a pretty good ad. If you have down here, it says mobile URL. Most of you won't need that. Some of you will need that. Some of you have two separate websites. One is a mobile version, the other is a standard website. Most websites today and age is mobile friendly. But anyways, if you do have a mobile specific page for them, you could drive them to that page. So the top link, the final URL, is what you'll use for everybody, unless you want to take people on a mobile phone somewhere different. And if that's the case, you would put the link there. I'm going to leave it blank, and most of you will leave it blank. Okay, I'm going to save that ad. Now that I have that ad saved, here's an example of it up here. So if you did target other communities in the area, you could click create ad and do the same thing, only instead of saying San Francisco, you would say whatever the other communities are that you're targeting. So you can create a whole bunch of ads. For most of us, we're just going to need one ad. So I'm going to go with this one. Site link extensions. Let me see if anybody used any. All right, so this one here, see how it has the word ad? I can tell this is an ad and it's on Bing. Here's the ad, oops. Here's the ad right here, but look underneath. It has free home evaluation, savings calculator, customer reviews, and online dashboard. These are site links. And these site links are taking up so much of the space that it's actually pushing these people down beneath the fold. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a couple of site links. So you won't have any here like I do. So you're going to hit this little button that says add a new site link extension. And then I'm going to say, get listed for sale. Thinking of spelling, question mark. Find out what it's worth. And I'm going to use the same landing page because this is the house value one, but we're going to create multiple site links. So this one is going to have a seller message. So let me go back to their example. They have a seller message here. It says free evaluation. That'd be a good title. Actually, you could just use that. But then I might also include some buying options because some sellers are also going to be buyers. You can put that, or you could have like contact us today, book a showing, open houses. I don't know what site links you want. I'm going to create two, a house value one, and hit save. So there it is there over on the left. If you do have any here, you can just click on this little arrow and it will move it over. Obviously, this recruiting webinar does not count, so I'm going to remove it. And I'll add a buyer message. So let me go to my website, go to my buyer section, copy that URL. So I was thinking of buying. Paste it in the URL section here. Very good. And then I'm going to say MLS listings for sale. Thinking of buying. Thinking of buying a home, get daily email alerts today. So that's going to be the title, and then it's got two sections underneath. So if I go back, so there's the title there, and then there's two sections underneath. Good, 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 good. Save. Okay, so now I have 2 site links. You could probably get 2 more in there. I would have one that says contact us, and then maybe you have another one that is featured properties, and you could link them to your page with all the featured properties. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to save that. Call out extensions. You can certainly add call out extensions. If you don't know what they are, there's a little question box here as you're creating these things, and it will tell you what it is and what you would need to know about it. So some of you will want to use that. Some of you will not want to use that. For the case of this webinar, I'm going to skip these ones, but it's literally fill in the blank. So just read that. If you want it, you'll click on add callout, and then you'll fill in the blanks and hit save. I'm going to skip those ones for time. And then I'm going to click save and go to next step. So my campaign budget, this year we already set that at $10 a day because of the math that we figured. But whatever your monthly budget is, divide it by 31, and that'll give you a rough estimate. And then you'll plop in that number or a number close enough to that here. So I'm going to be at $10 a day. My clicking strategy, I'm just going to use set my bids to get the most clicks. If you were an e-commerce store, you could do it for conversions and or a manual set. I would just say most of you, it's going to be easier just to stick with this, maximize clicks. I want to set a maximum CPC, so I'm going to check off that little box. And I'm going to say my max is going to be $4. So CPC is cost per click. And so I'm telling Bing, if there's like 1 million advertisers all driving up the price and the cost for even the click is $4, I don't want to go above that. I was with an agent not too long ago, and her competitors have driven up the price for her area's house values that it was over $20 a click, which is obscene in my opinion. That's not $20 a lead, that was $20 a click. So anyways, I would say 4 is a good number for you to be at because the cost per click, you're pretty much looking at $1 to $3 is pretty common. And so because those numbers are going to be going up over time, just set it to $4 now. Now, what is your bid amount? So I would say you probably want to start at $2, and I can tell because there's a warning symbol. If I click on that, it's basically telling me that I'm not going to get any clicks. And I can see 0, 0, 0, 0. So if I change this number to $1, I'm going to get 48 clicks a day. I'm going to change that to $2, 56 clicks a day. $3. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it at $3 for you. So just leave it as that. When I click on advanced campaign settings, this is where you can fine tune a couple things like the location. I'm already obviously targeting San Francisco, so I'm going to leave that. If I want to do a schedule, so I would say I only want this ad running Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you could, if you wanted, set it so that your ads are only running during your business hours of operation. I mean, you won't have enough money to be going 24 hours around the clock anyway. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of you will. But anyways, if I was an individual agent paying for my own leads, I would only want to be generating leads at a time when I'm awake and can answer the phone. So if that's the case, maybe I would say my sweet spot is 10 a.m. to 4. So that's where I would run my ads for. So I'm going to leave it that. You can change that number to whatever you want. And the drop down over here, you could have it on all days or Mondays to Fridays. I'm actually going to leave it as all days from 10 to 4, pretty reasonable. The ad distribution, you can leave it checked off as this, but basically our Bing advertising is also going to be on AOL, Yahoo, and their syndicate partners. So syndicate partners are other third-party search platforms, and they use Bing's advertising network. If you don't know who they are or even want to deal with that, then you can just check off this one. Bing, AOL, and Yahoo only. So then you know your ads are only running on Bing, AOL, and Yahoo. I would actually go to this one because it would give you more of a spread. But between the two, you'll be fine. Hit save. Okay, I got it. So you might have a thing that pops up that says that your ads are under review. The first couple times you run your ads, they're going to review it just to make sure that you're not driving people to inappropriate websites. They also want to make sure that your ads and keywords match the landing page that you're sending people to. So I'm going to just say, okay, I got it. And I have a question here. You want to set an end date. You could set an end date. Absolutely. My ads, I let run forever. Like my house value and buyer ads ran for 8 years and I never had to touch them. So I manually just turn them off. So here's an example. Good question. So say I have my ads running for a couple months and I find that I'm going on vacation. I don't want my ads to run anymore. You can just log into Bing Ads, click on campaigns, and it will show you all of your campaigns. Here's the one we just created called Local Search. If I just hover over this green dot and hit pause, it will pause that campaign and I won't have any ads running, and then I can turn it back on in a couple weeks or a month or even in a couple years. So that's my way of doing it. I don't set an end date. I just let ads run forever until I know I don't want it, and I'll turn it off manually. Okay, so we just created that one campaign. So now what I want to do is I want to click on the local search, the one that we just created. The house value ad group that we created, I want to click on that. And then it gives you a list of all of your keywords. So I told you I was going to show you how to add more keywords. So let's add more keywords. I'm going to hit add keywords. Go to the Word document that we had. I don't know. I've never seen that where it wouldn't let us load more than 1,000. So I'm going to do a couple at a time. I'll do from here. Copy that. Do a little page break because I'm going to have to copy these ones as well. Okay. I copy that, paste. Hit save. Okay, now I'm going to do it again. And grab the rest. It's really silly that they put a cap of 1,000. I've never seen that before. Okay, so I'm going to copy these ones, paste them in. Oh, it didn't actually copy. Shoot. Okay, let me delete that. Copy. I thought I had copied it, but I copied the old list. I think that's what happened. Huh, that's weird. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And I want to hit cancel. So if you were to add more keywords, when you hit this add keyword, they're going to come up with all these suggested ones. So you could actually come here and be like estimate values. That one could work. So you could manually add a bunch over here. I want to cancel that to show you one more trick. So we added 296. Now, in theory, I've been able to add all those keywords and not have any issues. I don't know what all those red keyword issues were. But anyways, normally you would just take this Word document that I gave you, copy and paste it in. After you have all of your keywords, this is very, very important. You want to check off this little box here. Then you want to click off select all rows on whatever your number is. And it selected all of them. Now you have to hit edit, change match type, and we're changing it from broad, which it's already selected to, and I'm going to do phrase or exact. You could do one of the two. This one will keep your budget extremely tight, and you won't be spending for senseless keywords. This phrase match one just opens up the door a little bit more for a little bit more flexibility in the way people are searching. So I would say try this option first, unless the cost per click is above $5 or whatever, then I would do exact match. So I'm going to do phrase match and hit save. So now that is changing all of my keywords. You'll see the keyword down here just says San Francisco house prices. And over on the right, it says phrase. So I just want to make sure that all my keywords have the word phrase beside it. And there was another question. Am I going to share the keyword document? Yep, you're going to get both of them. Hopefully you don't get into that issue that I just did. I don't understand why the keywords... It's because I'm recording live with you guys. Like I've done this a million times and put all of my keywords and not had an issue. So anyways, you will get that list. Okay, so now we are done with this one specific ad group. We did the house value ad group. We loaded the keywords. We made the ad. And we updated the keywords to be a phrase match. That's the order of things that you have to do. So now what I want you to do, if you're following along on the video, is click on local search up at the top, because I want to get back to it. Then I want to click on ad groups. So right now you should only have one ad group, and it would be the one we just created. Now I want to create a second ad group. So I'm going to click create ad group. And this one we'll call MLS listings or buyer. You could call it home buyer. Actually, I'll do it with home buyer. Okay, home buyer, English. I'll just leave it as use the campaign's bid strategy is fine. That is also fine as well. So now I want to create the ad for it. And the first option, it's asking me for the URL. So you'll have to go to your website. Now, if it was me, I would take them to a page that talks about getting updated listings that match their criteria. So this is a page that I created. It says thinking of buying a home. There's a video that talks about buying a home and that they'll get updated listings that match their criteria sent to their phone. And all they have to do is tell us what they're looking for in plain English, like in simple language. I mean, so 3-bedroom home under 400,000, yada, 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 sign me up. So I would send them to a landing page like this. Now, if your website doesn't have a landing page like this, the other option could be to send them to your IDX website that has all of the listings in your local market. Drive them to that and then let them just shop and look around, and then they'll fill in forms, ask questions, that sort of thing. But you know they're a buyer. At the end of the day, find whatever your best buyer page is that will convert for you. So I'm going to use this one, MLS listings. And copy the URL, and then I want to paste it right in here. I'm going to copy that. San Francisco MLS listings, homes for sale. In here, I want to say San Francisco. Oops. All one word. You can see that green text just added the word of the area I was targeting. Get a daily list of homes for sale updated daily. So get a list of homes for sale that match your criteria, updated daily. Basically, when we get a lead, what we're going to set them up on as a prospect match so that they get homes for sale that match their criteria. And obviously, that's updated daily. And so I'm going to include that. Leave all of this and hit save. Okay, now I want to add the keywords for that. So I'm going to go to the Word document that I want to give you. And this is the buyer Word document. So again, I want to change the word change. I'm going to hit Control F. A little drop down that says replace. And I'm going to find what? The word change and replace it with what? Whatever city you're targeting. I'm going to hit replace all. And then I want to copy this list. And put it in. Now, I wonder if they're going to let me see when we put our keywords to give us all these examples. You don't have to add those because I pretty much already did with the list that I'm sharing with you. So let me see if we can add these and not get into trouble. There's not 1,000, so we shouldn't run into issues. All right. So the first part of the list, when I scroll up, you'll see it includes the word San Francisco. So when I go down, 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 even use one San Francisco. So from this point on, if I was to only set up one thing, it would be this first chunk. If you want to catch more, then you could add this long tail, not including the word San Francisco. But I like the first option because you know that they're looking for listings for sale in your area. Okay. But anyways, I want to include both. That's how I would do it. You could do the ad scheduling again. I might as well since we're here. Oh, awesome. Use my campaign settings. Perfect. Yep, you're just going to leave that as is. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. Well, that's good. It loaded all of the keywords that I wanted. So now we have to go to those keywords and change them, remember? So I want you to click on the home buyer or whatever the last one was that you just made. It's going to give you all of these keywords. I'm going to check them off with the checkbox here. And then I have to make sure to select all because right now I've only got 50 of them selected. So I have to select all of them. So now I have 145 of them selected. And I'm going to hit the edit drop down, change match type, change it from broad to exact. Oh, sorry. No, from broad to phrase. Change. All these are being updated. So there you go. These two campaigns alone, you could set it and forget it and let it run for the rest of your career. Now, if you're not getting any conversions, it's because your website stinks or your call to action on your landing page stinks. Roughly speaking, like maybe not. Anyways, this campaign is a sure shot. Like, you know, if a person is in that area and they're searching these keywords, obviously they're looking at real estate for sale. So you're just going to deliver what they want and drive them to the right thing. So once we've done that for the buyer and the seller, I'm going to click on local search. And then I'm going to click on ad groups. And you could add more ad groups. So I could, if I wanted, hit create ad group, and I could create one targeting only people that are looking at condos and condominiums. Or I could create a whole nother ad group targeting real estate investors, people that are searching power of sales, fix and flips, duplex, triplex, multiplex, income producing properties, that sort of thing. Property specific types. So some of you live in areas where people buy ranch style homes or bungalows. Depending where you are, it's the same thing, just a different term. And so I could target people based on the type of property they're searching. If they're searching for waterfront or cottages, I could create ads targeting those people, drive them to a landing page. So you can make as many as you want. Just know that they're all sharing this one budget. So we set it to $10 a day. So a good rule of thumb would be to allocate $5 for each campaign as a minimum. Okay, so there was a question coming in. Let's check that. Is our bid 5 cents? Was it? No, we don't want that. So I'm going to click on that, search bid. Change current bids. I thought I changed that in the first example. It's really weird. Okay, I'm going to put it at $3 a bid. Maybe it's just showing that because the ads haven't run yet. So tomorrow, once the ads have been running, then it would be accurate to what the search bid was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that was. But yeah, it should not be 0.05 because obviously you're not going to get anything. So that's the gist of it. Let it run for a week. Come in and take a look at the keywords. So if I was to do any tie-up, what I would do is I would click on keywords, and it's going to show you all of these like warnings. So pending editorial review. So obviously they haven't been approved yet, but once they are, you will see other warnings like that it's not being delivered because of the bid amount or whatever the warning is. I would just take a look at each one and then make modifications. So I would change the bid if I had to for each keyword, or I would change the, say average house prices is a very competitive keyword. I would select the very competitive keyword, hit edit, change match type, and then change it from phrase match, because that's what it is right now, to exact match, and that will help you lower your cost. But I would leave everything as phrase match to start off with, because we loaded, say, 1,300 keywords. I'd say only maybe 70 of them will be super expensive that we'd want to make as exact match. So let your ads run for a couple weeks and then come in and do that tightening up, and then you'll be good to go. That's it. That's how you set up an ad campaign on Bing from beginning to end. And you'd obviously want to make sure that you got your billing all set up, so they'll have a big red banner up at the top screaming that they want your money. So you'll fill in the blanks on that. I've already done my credit card option, so I don't have to do that in front of you. But that's how we do our Bing advertising. Are there any questions? So there is a question. He's just typing it. So for those of you that are just sticking around, awesome. Thank you. You're totally free to go. I'm going to be sending you this video. And if you're like, oh my God, that was exhausting, just give the video to somebody else on your team to implement for you. But that's the basics of how you would set up Bing advertising from beginning to end with all the keywords. So I'll make sure to get you guys a copy of that, and then you can watch this video and follow through. So Bobby, you had a question. What is it? Oh, Google AdWords or Bing, which one is better? Okay. Google AdWords is better because more people use it. Bing Ads is better because it's cheaper because nobody uses it. So I would be on both. My ads I have running on both. Once in a while, when I'm split testing things, I'll pull them off Google altogether and just do Bing because it's overall going to be cheaper for me. You should probably be on both, but if you're extremely limited on budget, then maybe just focus on Bing. Yep. Oh yeah. Your monthly budget will still be the same. So say you set $300 on Google and you run it for a month, and then you pause Google and next month you do Bing for the same amount, $300. Are they really cheaper? Because both of them you spent $300. What you'll find is with Bing that you ended up getting more clicks. That's where the cheaper factor comes in. It's still going to be the same cost. It's still going to be the same budget that you set, 150, 300, 500, 1,000. It'll just be cheaper based on the number of clicks that you get for the same dollar. Cool. Okay. Well, that was a really boring session, but Bing advertising and Google advertising certainly isn't sexy until you start seeing the leads roll in. So I hope you guys get some good results from this. Are these good for seller and buyer? Yeah, I would set these keywords, seller and buyer. So when I email you guys the keywords, I'm going to have one document that is solely for house values. And then I'm going to have another document that is solely for buyers. So I typed up all the buyer options in one, and I typed up all the seller options in another. And I give you all my contact information in case you got questions. And I even show you here how to change the name. Yep, cool. Okay, awesome guys. I want to stop this. If you're in the middle of typing a question and I hang up on you, just call, text, or email me, and I will be setting up our next call on Monday. Thanks.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!